Hey guys, PepperAmmy here. This week we are going to take a look at a Danish classic, the frikadella. Now, what is a frikadella, you may ask? They are basically a semi-flattened meatball, normally made with mincemeat, but you can, of course, make them with fish as well. In this video, I will be showing you how to make the meat frikadella and a classic Danish serving option to go alongside them. For the frikadella, you will need 500 grams of mincemeat. I used a mix of beef and pork, 1 to 2 onions depending on the size, 2 eggs, 200 to 300 mils of breadcrumbs depending on how absorbent yours are, 300 mils of milk, 8 to 10 grams of salt, and optionally you can spice them with a teaspoon of nutmeg and half a teaspoon of crushed allspice, and of course seasoning with freshly ground black pepper. And then finally you will need some butter to fry these in. For the sides, simply a bag of new potatoes just to boil, and additionally 1 cabbage, 50 grams of butter, 2 tablespoons of flour, some milk, and optionally some nutmeg and sugar. Now you want to start by peeling and quartering your onion, and then simply place it into a food processor along with the milk, and blend until you get a nice smooth mixture. Then simply grab yourself a glass and enjoy a delicious Danish cooking milkshake. Now this will give you the energy you need to get through this dish. Please do not drink this. This was absolutely disgusting and I don't know why I even tried it. Yeah. Bad. Next, add in your eggs and blend to combine, and then pour into a large bowl. Then add in your breadcrumbs. The amount you will need will vary depending on how absorbent your breadcrumbs are. Then simply give a good mix to combine and let sit for a few minutes whilst you prepare your mince. For the mince, simply add 10 grams of salt to your mince and give a good mix. If you have a stand mixer, you can use that. I chose not to use mine just to prove that you can do this by hand, but it will take a bit longer. Once the mince is well combined, you should be left with something I can only call a meat paste. Add in your breadcrumb mixture and your remaining spices. This is much easier if you are using a stand mixer. Once fully combined, you should be left with something that now resembles sausage meat. Then simply cover and let sit in the fridge for at least 30 minutes. Whilst the frikadella mix is resting, you can prepare the cabbage. Simply cut it into quarters and then remove the bitter stem and cut into ribbons, and then just boil, cook and drain. And then simply set aside for later use. Once your meat mix has chilled, grab a large spoon and a glass of water. Dip your spoon into the water. This will help the mix not stick to the spoon. And then scoop some of the mix out of the bowl. I find it a lot easier if you are working in big batches to place the scooped mixture on a chopping board. Now there is no real perfect shape for a frikadella, but once they are all shaped and roughly the same size, simply melt some butter in a frying pan and carefully place the frikadella into the pan. You want to cook these for around 8 minutes whilst turning every couple of minutes to keep a nice brown colouring on both sides. Now you may end up having to cook these in batches. If you do, simply turn your oven onto a low temperature and just place the already cooked frikadella into the oven to keep warm whilst the rest are cooking. Now in the same pan that you cooked the cabbage in, we want to make a white sauce, also known as a bechamel sauce. Simply melt 2 tablespoons of butter in the pan and add in 2 tablespoons of flour, and then mix until there is no butter remaining, and then add in some milk. Now, the amount of milk you add is up to you and how thick you want your sauce, but once it is to a thickness of your liking, add in your pre-cooked cabbage and then just heat through. Now once again, you can additionally add some nutmeg, and if the cabbage is a bit bitter, you can add in a teaspoon or two of sugar just to sweeten it up slightly. And then alongside the cabbage, you can boil up some new potatoes to serve along with the dish, as that is a common thing to do over here. But there you have it, the classic Danish frikadeller. If you have some left over, they are great to snack on cold, and they make a great lunch to take into work the next day. Now these were one of the first things I had when I first came to Denmark, and even though it has been a couple of years, it is still an absolute delight to see these on the dinner table. But anyway guys, thanks for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, leave a like down below, perhaps a comment. If you haven't already, consider subscribing, it helps me out a lot, and I will see you all again next week. Now for the sides, simply some new oh my god.